Hi, I'm Babette Edgar, and we're here talking to some managed care pharmacists today about the future of managed care pharmacy. So, gentlemen, will you introduce yourselves, please?
My name is Tom Telly. I work for OptumRx. I lead a managed Medicare team on negotiate and industry relations, as well as the pharmaceutical contracting team.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Szczotka. I'm practice lead for Source Healthcare Analytics, which is a pharmaceutical marketing and management firm specializing in improving healthcare delivery.
Great. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today.
Wonderful.
We are talking a little bit about managed care pharmacy and what we see the future looking like. Obviously, this year we've had a lot of changes. The past 5 years, we've had a lot of changes with health reform and the addition of ACOs and patient-centered medical homes. So what do you think that managed care pharmacy and the practice of managed care pharmacy is going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see us practicing any different in any different areas?
Age before beauty.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, I think it's the most exciting time for pharmacy, especially the managed care side. Primarily because as we work more towards value-driven healthcare, this gives a really managed care pharmacy and managed care pharmacists a chance to really demonstrate our abilities to show that quality improvement and that value improvement, not only in Medicare Part D, but in commercial plans. And especially as we move some of the costs over and some of the risk over, we're going to see that value-driven equation. And pharmacists are in the right spot to be able to do that, especially in managed care, to drive that going forward. And I think it's really an exciting time.
And for me, I agree with everything Andy said. I think it'll demonstrate the value that pharmacists bring outside of retail into looking at what we can provide to, have better quality of life for people, have better health care, and how pharmacy can take a more major part in making that happen.
So who do you see as the employers of managed care pharmacists moving forward? Right now we have health plans, we have PBMs, we have insurance companies, pharma. Do you see any new players coming into the mix?
Well, for me, I think there's tons of opportunities. It's where you look because when I was here, it was mostly retail when I came out of pharmacy school, and now there is so much more that pharmacists can do. So, yeah, I see it with the integrated medical delivery system. A lot of pharmacists be involved there, bringing the value, because it's not only at the plan level, but it has to get down into the medical group and the integrated systems.
I agree with what Tom said as well. I think there's a lot of new opportunities, but I think more importantly, it's a chance for us to go back to our roots as pharmacy. I date myself back to when there's only hospital and retail back those days, but it really gives us a chance to connect with the patient and really interface with that patient so we can really show the value in that healthcare system. So I think that's very, very important. So I think we're going to kind of have the pendulum swing back a little bit to more patient-centered care.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And so you see at our meeting here, we're celebrating 25 years of managed care. And when you see, curriculums of schools and residencies, you see sort of general managed care principles being taught. But it seems as we're moving forward that there are some specializations that are emerging. What do you think about that? Do you think that managed care is going to end up specializing in certain areas given such, broad, not necessarily broad, but so much information and so many new things that pharmacists are doing? Do you think it's too much for, one sort of general managed care title?
No, I think it's a good thing. I think as our practice continues to evolve, I think specialization is very good. If you look at that, kind of complementary to the medical residencies, lots of specialization, but it really allows us the opportunity to demonstrate what we're trying to do and getting into health outcomes research, value-based research, patient-centered care, MTM. I think those are all very valuable aspects, and the more that we can deliver that, I think it's great for the profession.
And I have to agree, instead of it being a mile wide and an inch deep, I think it's much better to be an inch wide and a mile deep and have the specialty and really dig into the value that pharmacy brings to each of the different specialties. And it's definitely the way to go. And it's just more opportunities for the pharmacists to specialize. We actually do that in OptumRx, where we have a Part D team that I lead. We're strictly Part D, and we know Part D, I would say, better than anyone. as part of our
Okay.
business. That's our goal, to be the subject matter expert for that.
That's awesome. You know, I have a vested interest in that. So
Not at all. Not you. No.
We're closer, I think.
do you think that the pharmacy schools are preparing the students enough to come out with the right knowledge base for managed care and these specializations that we're talking about?
Well, I know through OptumRx, we have residencies at OptumRx, and as a matter of fact, I just hired one of our residents onto my team about 2 years ago. But he came through, he saw the value and the interest that he had in it, so he kept coming back and interviewing for positions, and I finally hired him, doing a phenomenal job for us. But I think they are, because when he goes back to USC and presents now with the opportunities outside of the traditional, pharmacist roles that were out there before. So I think as the word spreads and pharmacists get interested in things outside the norm, there's loads of opportunities.
But you're training your own, it sounds like.
Well,
You're training your own specialized
yeah, they do a
pharmacists.
rotation through our group, and then after they do the rotation, they can pick one department that they worked in that they really enjoyed. So he came back into our department, and that's
Okay.
where his interest was, in the negotiations and the business aspect, instead of really the clinical.
Okay, so you got him as a student.
Yeah, we got him as a student. He came
Okay.
through in a residency, but it's through USC. They do it. We don't go out and.
Got it. You don't have your own residency.
Yeah, no, we don't have our
doing
own
that.
residency, no.
Okay. Any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, unfortunately, I hate to say I agree with him again, but I do, in the fact that I think
never
pharmacy
agrees with me.
schools are doing a very good job of creating some really good fundamentals. But I think what they're doing much better now than they were maybe 10 years ago is they're giving those opportunities to do these rotations to gain the exposure that they never had before. And I think the more they expose all the pharmacy students to the different opportunities, it really expands the base for people that which we can hire and allow them to be successful. So I think they're doing a much better job creating the exposure and the opportunity and allowing the students to capitalize on that. Something maybe 15, 20 years ago was just this straight curriculum, do this, do that, not a whole lot of freedom. Now they're given the freedom and the electives, and I think they're taking good advantage of it.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you.
I really appreciated it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Babette.
Thank you.